And welcome to the Boom Bar on your Boom Radio NG. It's been a minute, and it's always a pleasure to be here. My name is Sola Rogers.
And my name is Dolupo. Yeah, the one and only. I bet you're welcome to the bar today. It's been, like you said, it's been a minute. There are a few things, but we're back and we're better. And happy election season. The election season is officially upon us. It's in fact, it's almost over.
Upon us, okay?
It's almost over. Yeah, we're still in election season as we know that last week Saturday, about it's over a week now actually. The presidential and the National Assembly elections were conducted, and now in a few days' time, less than a week, there's the governorship and the State House of Assembly elections are going to be conducted as well. So yes, we're still in election season, but it is a very interesting one. Today on the Boom Bar, if you're joining us for the very first time, bid you a warm welcome. It is an interesting time to be alive. It's an interesting time to be, what it is. It is what it is, and so there's going to be there's been a lot of updates from the internet. There's a lot of updates from elections that have gone. There's a lot of previews from elections that are upcoming. So yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about that. Also, one of the main issues that we're also going to be talking about is the National Assembly. As much as there is the story of the presidential elections, we also should not forget that there was also the National Assembly elections, which a lot of people seem to overlook. But it is what it is. They're actually also a major part of federation, and then we're going to be talking about the few issues that those things have popped up from there. Also, there are a few stories from the states for elections coming up, and somebody that wants to be impeached, and a few other things. NDLEA is also in the news, so we will get up to that. There's an update from news that broke, was yesterday or 2 days ago, about a Nigerian tech company. There's an update coming from that as well, and there's a bit of football also. So sit back, relax, and let's just enjoy the ride.
Yes, that's what it is. And again, if you're just joining us, the Boom Bar is all about music, sports, politics, and everything in between. Election season in Nigeria, but things are happening in and around the world. Football is happening in different parts of the world. Some people would not want to hear some of the things that have been said or will be said, but hey, that's our job.
Anyway, I was going to keep this to the end.
I think you should, so that we stay focused. Actually,
no,
I think
so that we can just move
actually, because okay, do your thing.
What's wrong?
Nothing, just do your thing.
Okay, so one of the things that I was going to talk about was the Premier League Matchday26, if I'm correct. Yeah. And it's very interesting because this week I think we're beginning to see a lot of there's a lot of shift happening. I think that's the word. There's a lot of shift. There's still about 12 games to be played, but we're beginning to see what's the word now? The wonders that is happening. It started with So basically, we've been seeing a lot of wonders happening, and it's very interesting because games are suddenly becoming very extremely unpredictable. Let me put it like that. And why we said so is that you see a lot of things that happen. Take for example, who would have thought that Bournemouth was going to score 2 goals not just score 2 goals ahead of Arsenal, before Arsenal, which was a very, very interesting game, actually. Very, very interesting game. Even nobody saw a lot of that happening. A lot of things that happened, nobody saw those things happening, because it was like, what exactly is this? In fact, I'm sure that a lot of people would have bet on the fact that Bournemouth was not going to be able to score any goal. They're at the bottom of the league, so what else do you expect? But we saw how they actually pulled through. Kudos to them. I think that they did fantastic.
Football. That's what happens with football. And the unpredictability of football is what keeps us coming back for more. Mm-hmm. And the Premier League in England actually offers you so much of that. Number 1 team versus number 20 team. And you would have thought it was going to go a certain way.
Yeah.
And if you watch the game, as against watching the highlights, you understand why Bournemouth threw that game away.
Yeah.
It could have been like 2 or 3-0 in the first half. And they...
Trust me, they had Arsenal by the...
They stuck at it, they went at it. But there's one thing you must respect, and it's the stuff of champions. This is how you know a champion or a championship team. A team that doesn't give up. A team that is like, you know what? No matter what happens here, we have to stick at it. We have to go for it. We have to go at it. And that's what they did. That's what Arsenal did. And against all odds, when it was 2-0, one of my friends, a massive Arsenal fan, Bimbo, tweeted and said, 2 goes down, and now we have to score 3. And I've never seen any Arsenal fan as into Arsenal like this guy.
Him?
And he said we just need to get 3 goals and that sounded like, oh, is he being delusional? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And those 3 goals came. And again, one thing that Arsenal need to do is to look for a way to solidify the person that they call Partey.
Yeah.
There's something about when Partey comes to the party.
Partey, you just...
Did you see what I did there? Partey comes to the party. See again.
When he first came
Partey
into
after
Arsenal,
Partey.
everybody was wondering what exactly, but I think it's one of the best buys that has happened in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so a big shout out to Arteta for the team that he has created and he has built. And trust me, it's Arsenal's title to lose. It's on them now. At this point,
you know,
they are seemingly unstoppable, so it's on them to stop themselves or not.
I saw a tweet where someone had said, now Arsenal has to play the next 12 World Cup finals. Literally. Like, you can't afford to lose any game, which makes sense. Another very interesting game that happened on Saturday was Brighton and West Ham, with Brighton defeating West Ham 4-0. That was a very unlikely game as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure a lot of people saw that coming.
But hey, Brighton have shown a lot of flashes this season. Like, you see them against the big boys and you're like, okay, is this the same team? Yeah. So against what's it called now? West Ham. Yeah. I'm not surprised actually, because I've seen them play, and when they play, you know, they actually play well. When they really, really play.
The one that wasn't very surprising, Man City and Newcastle. Man City defeated Newcastle 2-0. Chelsea defeated Leeds 1-0. Aston Villa, Crystal Palace 1-0. Wolves, Tottenham lost again 1-0. And the, would I say, amazing game of the weekend that everybody was actually looking forward to. I'm sure it was actually a Super Sunday. It was something everybody was Liverpool Matchday United. We know the rivalry with those people are unprecedented. It's unprecedented. And Liverpool decided to give us Champions League football in one game. It decided to give us Champions League finals in one game. And I was reading it that this is the worst defeat of Matchday United since I think 1930 or something, where Wolves had defeated them 7-0. Nobody else. They have not been defeated in almost 100 years.
Yeah, so the thing about derbies is that when it comes to a derby, form is thrown out the window. Because if you go by form, we've had a faltering Liverpool.
Yeah.
And a blazing Man United. They played arguably more games than most of the teams in February.
Yeah.
They're the only team that is in, I think, 4 or so competitions, and just even last week won the Carabao Cup finals.
Yeah.
So they had momentum, they had the vibe, they had the buzz, and everybody was like, "Oh, Man United, yeah." And again, you would even agree if they said they were going to Anfield to annihilate Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because Liverpool have not really been the
They've
Liverpool
not been wonderful.
that we've seen in the last 3 seasons.
I agree.
But I think something must have snapped somewhere, and
Something
Liverpool
must have snapped.
are like, you know what? Even if everybody's gonna beat us, not these guys. Oh, they think because they won a trophy, they're gonna go and steamroll everybody or run through this place like a moving train. No, that's not gonna happen. And exactly what Liverpool did. Again, look at the way they scored the goals. Look at how people got braces.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the one that you used to hold your teeth in place.
It was such a weird thing. Like, okay, it was not impossible for Liverpool to defeat Manchester United, but I'm not sure anybody saw this coming. And Liverpool had them where they wanted them to be. There was no ball going anywhere. And then, as much as yes, Ten Hag has been and I know it's football, anything happens, but I think this is really, really going to be a dent or a stain in his career. They're doing amazing. That you cannot take away from them. So even if you were going to lose to Liverpool, which, shout out to Liverpool. Liverpool is a team you can lose to. Nobody is above losing. It's just that nobody would have thought that it was going to be 7-0 and you were not even going to get one. Not even one.
Yeah, again, there's something that happens in football when you're really up against it, then you lose it. It's something when you're up against. It's different when you're up against it and you're in the right frame of mind to fight to limit the damage.
Yeah.
But when you're up against it and you lose it completely. And that's what happened to mine. Like when it got to about 4 goals or so, they had lost the fight. Like, you know what?
There was no
Let's just survive. Let's survive. Again, maybe the coach should have made some tactical changes. And maybe try to, switch things around in a bit. But no matter what happens, it's football, and football happened to Man United. And
Definitely.
Liverpool deserve all the accolades.
They do.
It's a massive 3 points. It's not your regular 3 points.
It's
a 3
points with plus 7.
With 100 years old bragging rights.
Yeah. Like, it's not just what's it called. It's plus 7 in one game. Goals different. Plus 7. Those, you gather those things, 7 goals in sometimes 3-4 games. And they did it in one game. Oh, yeah.
Only recently, David De Gea, the goalkeeper for Man United, was being celebrated as the one with the most. It tallied the record clean sheets for Man United, with one of their club legends.
And Liverpool decided to destroy.
Everybody's like, okay, really? You're going to be like that.
Liverpool decided.
And now he has a dubious record. He has conceded 13 goals in 2 games.
In 2 games, wow.
It's not 2 games back to back, but this season there was a game where he considered 6.
6, yeah.
And this one he has considered 7.
7.
So we don't know if there's going to be an 8 somewhere.
An 8 somewhere. We'll see. We'll get to that. Anyway, let's move on quickly from that. Let's dive right into the stories that we have today. And I'm going to start with something that, just concluded. I'm not sure if it's done. I think it's done. But anyway, the presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party in Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, has said, because earlier today there was news that broke that the PDP was going to protest, and they were taking their protest to the Independent National Electoral Commission headquarters in Abuja. Now, he now said, and I quote, that this protest will continue for a very long time, either every day or any other day. So, what they're saying now is that they protest, and for people that do not know, this protest is that they're saying that INEC should declare a rerun, I'm guessing, that the elections were not free and fair.
Yeah, so it is well within the rights of the PDP, especially their presidential and vice presidential candidates, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku and Governor Okowa of Delta State, who is the running mate for Atiku, to seek, redress in the courts, and also even to protest. Protesting is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
As long as you do it within the confines of the law, and it does not lead to a breakdown of law and order.
Yeah.
It seems like a thing that the PDP believe in, and they are going to do whatever it takes for them to get the results that they want, regardless of how it pans out, regardless of what happens in the courts, because it's obvious that they're going to head to the courts. You want to look at the dramatis personae. You want to look at the top players in this drama. Abubakar Atiku, former vice president of Nigeria, 76 years old.
Mm-hmm.
This is someone who has been contesting elections since 1993 to be president of Nigeria.
You people will not stop talking about it.
I'm not you people. I'm not you people. I resent your statement now immediately. I put it back to you. So what I'm saying is, he's been contesting for over 30 years. Must show tenacity. I don't know if that has to do with your you people narrative. For someone to contest against MK Abiola in 1993, step down for him, come back again in 99 to be governor. Then he was upgraded to vice president by former President Obasanjo. Then he was vice president for 8 years. Then he tried to run. They stopped him. He went to AC, SCN, PDP, APC, everything back to PDP. What I'm going at is not even trying to put him down. I'm just saying that he's been at it for so long that you should not fault his experience and his exposure and his tenacity. However, in my opinion, this is his last throw of the dice.
So he has to put everything.
So he has to put everything into it, whatever it takes to get it.
Okay, so instead of let's
within
go back,
the confines of the law.
Let's go back to what the law says. Yeah. So according to the new Electoral Act, the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, has a 7-day window to be able to declare or change, let me put it like that. After declaring the results, they have a 7-day window from the day of the election to be able to say, okay, this election was rigged, or this election was good, or, basically to be able to change the election, yeah? Change the result, or maybe say they want to do another election, or what's it called. Last I checked, I think that 7-day window has passed. And it is not in the it's not a purview of INEC to declare a rerun, especially when a president-elect has been announced. I think that would have happened if the results had come out inconclusive. But there is a conclusive result according to INEC, and there is already a president-elect. I don't understand what PDP is doing. I get it that you're going to court. Why don't let's go to court? Because at this point, I do not think, according to the law, there is anything even the president can do about it right now.
Okay, so that's you looking at things your own way and saying, okay, I don't think this is how it should be done or how it shouldn't be done. but we're talking about a political party that has been in existence. It's the oldest political party in Nigeria.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be the biggest political party in Africa, like they actually call themselves. And they must have some kind of format or system in place, you know. They must have things that will make them know that, hey,
know that this happened. Okay, so if that's the case, now when the pictures of this came out, there are pictures that now surfaced of them doing this exact same thing in 2019, when we didn't even have this new electoral act, when there was even an old electoral act that happened, and we saw them protest, and nothing came out of it other than them ending up going to court.
Okay, so again, we must be careful of this very dangerous narrative of trying to draw parallels with the past all the time. At times we use it, you know, to learn from it and all. But again, this is a peculiar situation. This is a different ballgame entirely.
Okay.
4 years ago, there was just two major contenders. It was the then incumbent, still President Buhari, you know, and the PDP's candidate, Abubakar Atiku. Now, the prayers then and the things that they were fighting for were not exactly the same, because now it's a different ballgame. There are fewer parties contesting for presidency, but there are more personalities involved with higher stakes. You know, the emergence of the Labour Party and Peter Obi, of course, must be acknowledged, and how that throws a different color into things and how things could be. So it might not exactly be the same thing as 4 years ago.
Why I think it's not the same thing is because if the if INEC really and honestly, if they cannot do anything about it, then there's no point in protesting.
Okay, so
that's where I'm coming from. If it's something INEC can do, yeah. If not, then transfer all this energy into building up a watertight case.
This is part of the watertight case. And when they get to court, they're telling you, oh, that Nigerians protested.
No, Nigerians didn't protest, though. The PDP protested.
Nigerians protested. There were protests last week in Abuja and Delta State. Mm-hmm. And pockets of protests in, I think, River State or something. I don't know. Oh, that was the Naira one. All right, so Nigerians protested a bit. Then the party also hit the street to show how much they disagreed with, you know, the presidential elections. Mm-hmm. This is all part of the case. It's all part of building a case. Again, the Nigerian politician always feels that they need to get the attention of the international media, which by extension will get them the attention of the world powers, you know, the USA, the UK, Canada, France, Germany, and the rest of them. So this is what you're saying here. Like, we need to build a case, and it's a strategy of sorts. Let's hit the streets. Let's do this.
We'll see how that will. Something popped up in my head, but you know, I'm just going to let it slide. Anyway, if we move a little away from the presidential elections, we know that there's a lot of protest about it. The Labour Party also has something to say and all that. Let's calm down. Still talking about the elections that happened February 25th, yeah? The National Assembly elections. And let's take the Senate, for example. We know that there are 109 seats. Now, there are about 17 seats of those 109 seats that have not been concluded. There's a bit of pockets of violence here and there. For Enugu East, the election had not even held at all because of the death of a Labour Party candidate on that matter. But the majority of people that are going to the Senate are already known. Yeah. Now, before a very interesting statistic that I seem to have found out, according to the 10th Senate now, APC has 51 seats, the PDP has 27 seats, and the Labour Party has 7 seats.
The YPP has one.
The YPP has one. I think APGA has. NNPP has, I think, one or two as well. I would confirm on that. But
Yeah, the NNPP has 3 seats. The SDP has 2 seats. The YPP and APGA have 1 seat each.
so when we look at this, the interesting part to me is that we're getting to a point in Nigeria where we do not just have the PDP and the APC anymore.
In the assembly.
In the assembly, yeah. Even with the presidential elections, we can actually see how that played out. But in the assembly, as much as there is the majority and there's a minority, with the way it's going, there's most likely going to be more of minority than majority. It's just that they are all just in different parties. That's what makes them minority at the moment. So, let's go back to it. There's I'm sorry, for starters, only 30 of 55 of 7 senators who sought re-election won their seats. So 25 of 55 that sought re-election did not win.
Yeah. Okay. That's massive. Again, we already knew that this was going to happen when the Electoral Act was signed. There are a couple of things that happened before they even got to the main elections. For instance, in the APC, about 2 or 3 of their senators moved on to other things. The party chairman, deputy national party chairman. Then one of them became a deputy governor in Zamfara State. Yeah. So again, that's already 3 senators out. You get, and here and there.
And we know that the Electoral Act did a lot of people in.
So at some point there were talks of a large number of them cross-carpeting to another place.
That's how we saw how between when we had 109 senators, only 55 were even eligible
to contest. And I think 25 or 30 of them.
About 25 of them are out.
Yeah. But I heard about that means 30 of them are coming back.
Yeah.
So if we have 30 of them coming back, again, it's good to have some sense of continuity and experience.
Yeah.
I know people are going to argue with this. Oh, why should one person come 5 or 10 times? Actually, there's no limit to the number of times a senator or a House of
Rep member
can contest.
I think I agree with you. At times, for example, we know that principal officers are given to ranking officers.
Yeah. We need to explain ranking officers because it's not the military. So why are they ranking officers?
Ranking officers is people that have been there for more than once. Take, for example, the Senate President. Senate President has been there since 1999. So he's the definition of ranking officer.
The Speaker of the House also.
The Speaker of the House has been there since 2003. So he's the definition of a ranking officer. There are a few people that have been there for a long time. The Chief Whip of the House, Oji Uzokalu, Senator Abari Bey, Elisha Abo. There are a few people that have been there for a while. Those are people that are coming back. Patrick Ifeanyuba, YPP, he's been there a few times. I think that he was even in another party.
Yeah, but he's been YPP for 2 terms now.
Opayemi Bamidele from the APC. Also, Jari Bay, Agom Jari Bay from Cross River North has also been there for a while. Seriaki Dixon has also been there. Sani Musa has been there also. Danjuma Goje, Adamu Aliero, Jibrin Issa, Lola Ashiru, Sadiq Suleiman, Ura Adetokumbo Abiru. Those are people that have been there for
Abiru is returning.
At least they are returning.
He just got there last year.
The Senate President is back again. Ibrahim Shekarau.
I reserve my comments on that.
Interestingly, Olamilekon Adeola, who moved his senatorial seat.
He didn't move his seat. He moved himself. The senatorial seat is still there, Lagos East Senatorial District. He moved,
he moved
himself from Lagos to Ogun State.
Like take for example, Lagos State. Other than I think the Adetuku, the remaining two are newcomers. Into this.
Yeah, Eshin Lokun and the former deputy governor of Lagos under Governor Ambode.
Yeah, I think one of them took this Yayi seat. The other one
is the former deputy governor, who happens to be a woman.
Yeah.
Took she contested in the Lagos East Senatorial District and won. You know, the interesting thing is that she went up against a guy called Eroland, who had contested against the current senator Yayi, who is now going to be a senator in Ogun State, but who is still a serving senator in Lagos.
Yeah.
Nigerian politics would amaze you.
Would amaze you. Before you say two things, they'll say there's nothing against the law to these things, which I feel that it's okay. But the thing for me is that these things should actually bring up, because they are not being like happenstances. So maybe that was the reason why there are no laws changing it. Maybe it's time, as things happen, we need to actually start updating our laws. Because I feel that a lot of times these people just do it because there are no laws, so they just take advantage of the fact that since it's not against the law, then anything can happen. I'm still talking about the Senate. Now, according to the ninth Senate, there are about 9 female senators that their term is going to end May 29th. Now, I don't know if I would say sadly, because for some of them it's not a sad occurrence. All 7 of them are not returning. 7 is a terrible.
You said 9 there. You said 7.
Sorry, 7. 7 is a very tiny percentage when it comes to 109 people. It's an extremely small percentage. Now, according to the 10th Senate, except for the 17 that are just going to, we don't know yet, but of what we know now, there are only 3 female senators that are going to be in the House.
Well, we know that there are some results pending, but sadly, none of those pending results.
I don't think that they're really.
Sadly, none of them are going to throw up another woman. Now, this is not tokenism. This is not playing to the gallery or anything. How serious are we about equality? You know, we like to, speak what we say on the street as grammar. They say that women are this way. No, you don't agree that they are, because it shows in the results of the elections. Now, 2 women that are not returning is for a good reason. One is the wife of the president-elect, who is Senator Oluremi Tinubu. She cannot contest because she's going to be the wife of the president-elect. The other person, Senator Binani, is on the threshold of history.
Yeah.
She and the Labour Party gubernatorial candidate,
I think I saw that news.
in Rivers State are the only women that I know of that are contesting to be governor. I don't know of any other state that there are any women contending. I stand to be corrected, but at least these 2 I have been monitoring. So if the Labour Party gubernatorial candidate wins and the APC's gubernatorial candidate in Adamawa State wins, they would make history. We had a woman who was supposed to be governor, but it did not materialize.
It did not.
Then we had a woman who acted as a governor when Peter Obi was impeached.
But this
but
is
it doesn't count.
Election, and it will be massive for women really in Nigeria. And for me, why someone like the candidacy of Senator Binani is very interesting is the fact that, especially in the area in the north, those are not things that you hear a lot about women. And I think it's amazing. Earlier today, I saw a tweet where they were talking about a girl that from secondary school that had I think she had about 325 in her jam, and the person that was tweeting it was congratulating her. And I was very elated. Why? Because I'm like, and she's from North. I'm like, this is the kind of news you want to hear from the North. It's not about child marriages or kidnaps or what's it called. Like, it is amazing news to hear. So yes, those women are out for good reasons, but other women actually got they actually lost their seats. And for people that know, I'm more of an equity kind of thing. Did people vote for them? No, they did not vote for them. You cannot blame people that did not vote for them. My question is that, can we at least make the environment more conducive
but again,
for more women to contest? Can we encourage more people? Also, women should also be able to fight their cause.
And this is where I might be calling you out. Mm-hmm. We had a discussion here at the bar a few months ago, mm-hmm, or a few years ago, and we're saying it again. When it was being proposed that a certain quota should be allocated or allowed for women, mm-hmm, you kicked against it.
Yes, I agree. Because how are you going to divide it? Which states are you going to say that they should?
They could have worked out something.
What is the criteria?
So this is where I was going. I kept on saying it, that there might be issues with saying you need a certain number of women legislators. Mm-hmm. A seat number. I don't like the idea of creating special seats for women, but I like the idea of mandating.
They had come up and
mandating the
state one,
mandating the political parties. You know, in Lagos State there are 24 House of Rep seats, mm-hmm, and 3 senatorial seats. So that's 27. And you should mandate the states to say, we want you to give us X number of percentage of women as contestants to encourage women.
Now, my question is,
if
that
what
happens when, let's take it as maybe it's the Southwest, there's Lagos, there's APC, there's PDP, there's LP, yeah? These 3 people contested, and you say maybe there has to be 8.
You know you didn't let me finish, but I'll let you ask this question.
Sorry, 8 out of 24 seats that has. So Labour Party has 8 out for the people contesting. PDP has 8. APC has 8 from different places. Are we saying that there are not times that these people are not from the same locale, which there is a high probability that after everybody votes, there won't still be 8 women that will not get those seats?
Very good, because this is all about conjecture and probabilities, mm-hmm, now. But the chances of more women getting to the House increases. Sure. When every single party in Nigeria fields a certain percentage of women. The chances of every party fielding it is based on if there's a law, mm-hmm, or an agreement to say, let's allow more women in. It's wrong for you to allow women. It's their right. But we know that women are being suppressed. It's the truth. They don't get that level playing field. So kudos to some governors and some parties and some people who actually make the forms for the women free. I know you didn't like the idea. Then I was laughing. I'm like, if you see the bigger picture, you were like, no, look.
I still don't. Because
then how do women get in a world that is dominated by men? It is only by allowing this first, by this style, then later you would find that more women will be encouraged. If you allow more women, if you give them a soft landing, it's not tokenism. It is actually realizing and recognizing the fact that women are useful and necessarily important to governance.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. If you had more women contesting, that means you have the chances of more women winning. That's what it means. Lagos deliberately pushed to maintain the balance of having at least one female senator. That's what they did.
Yeah.
That's what APC did.
Yeah.
And they've done that since the existence of APC. They've always wanted to have a woman, a senator, at least one, who ends up winning the general elections. So imagine if every party tried that, we would have more women getting involved. And when women know that they actually have a path to success, more women will get into the fray. Because it's really wrong. It's wrong for us to think that they need our permission. They don't need our permission. They just need a level playing field.
Okay. Still talking about the Nigerian Senate. Now we know that the date for the inauguration is been set as June 13th.
Yes, the presidential inauguration is May the 29th. And of course, you cannot set up the legislature without the executive in place. So it's going to come up a couple of days after the presidential inauguration. What it also means is that a lot of horse trading has started now.
Oh, yeah.
The party that has the majority in the House of Assembly at state and at national level will be the ones running the affairs of the assembly, which means that all the major roles will go to them, while the minority seats will also be able to pick their own principal officers. So in the case of the Senate, the Senate president and the deputy Senate president will come from the party that has the majority, and the
chief whip,
the leader, the majority leader, and all of that. Those are positions that people are already fighting for.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot of talk about it, like how is it going to pan out? Now people are going to come, and trust me, in a few days time it's going to go up a notch. After the gubernatorial elections,
that's the next.
It's going to be a frenzy.
Definitely going to be next.
It has already started. Like for instance, if you look at the projections, with over 50 seats by the APC, they are obviously the majority in the Senate, which means that they have the right and the power to pick the next Senate president.
Again.
Now, sadly or otherwise, the current Senate president is returning. And is a ranking senator.
Probably one of the oldest in the House.
The oldest. The longest serving senator in Nigerian history is returning to the House, is returning to the Senate. What that means is that he might be in pole position to become Senate president, but it's not cast in stone.
Yeah.
As long as you're a ranking senator. Now, they didn't say anything about how much ranking you must have in the Senate. Again, a lot of people would tell you now that with a president from the Southwest, who is also a Muslim, because now this is where our politics is.
Issues will also come in with
a vice president from the north, who is also a Muslim.
From the northeast.
The
current Senate president, who is probably in line to be named president again, is from the northeast, who's also Muslim.
Now, politically, you will say, how many votes did the APC get from the southeast? That's politically. But again, politically, would it be a bad idea if they ceded the Senate presidency to the southeast? It's all politics.
The problem with that will be, are there actually APC senators in the southeast? More like, are there?
I think there are one or two people that have won their seats.
Ranking senators.
Yes.
Maybe Oji Uzokari.
Yes, he's won his seat. So politically, again, it might not be a bad idea. For you to.
Then also, there's the House of Representatives, that the current speaker is from the southwest, and is also a Muslim.
And is, from the same place as the president,
Same
or
state.
sorry, president-elect. What that means, in essence, is that will he return again as a Speaker of the House, or would they say, let's have another geopolitical zone produce a Speaker?
It's good.
We don't know how this is
going
to
to
pan out.
interesting. I know that, like you said, it's governorship elections that is making everybody still calm down. And we all know that governorship elections will not take as long as the presidential. So but I'm sure by Monday, all governorship elections should have wrapped up.
Yeah. Even by Sunday, you start getting a lot of
results.
But Monday, and again, Monday, the beauty of it is that it's done at the state level.
That's what I'm saying. So by Monday, by then, we now start hearing a lot of back and forth on that matter. Also, talking about the Senate, a brother of the Enugu East Labour Party senatorial candidate is the one that has now replaced his lawyer, his murdered brother, that is a lawyer, that we know that election had been moved to March 11th.
I think that's Barrister Oyigbo or something. Yeah. Now, it's not the first time it's happening in Nigeria. In Osun State,
it happened in Osun State.
A serving senator who was actually campaigning to be governor of the state, who would most likely have won that election.
Yeah.
He had one of my favorite monikers or nicknames, Sherubawon. Senator Adeleke. Sadly, he died. And his brother
is governor now.
Ademola Adeleke actually was allowed to step into his brother's shoes, and he became a senator also. So I think that's the same thing that the Labour Party has done in Enugu East. And so again, there's a precedent to this, and it's going to be interesting because it's going up against a seasoned senator in the person of Chimaroke Namani, aka Ebano.
So it's going to be a very interesting election as well. That will be March 11th. Also, quickly, let's move on from that and let's move on to states, where Gov.Obaseki of Edo State has now accused the former governor Oshiomhole of trying to impeach him.
Oh, how? How is that going to happen? How is it? Is there a detail to this, or is it just a headline?
There's a headline. Now, a bit of the story that I read is that he's trying to influence the people in the House to get him impeached.
Which house?
The State House of Assembly.
How many members do they have there? How many members were allowed to register? And their times are about to run out. I
think that question will be for Gov.Obaseki.
Gov.Obaseki has been saying a lot of allegations, or putting them out a lot lately.
Remember, he had said that he was going to arrest Governor Oshiomhole for was it former Governor Oshiomhole for some I think that Governor Oshiomhole is giving him a lot of headache.
Incoming senator, yeah, is giving him a lot of headache. It's possible, because you see, politicians, look, the sad thing is that this was the guy that succeeded Adams Oshiomhole as governor. And again, a lot of people told us, so it's out there, that it was Oshiomhole that brought him in. We saw Oshiomhole campaign for the same guy, right?
Oh yes, he did.
Then they had a falling out. Now he says the man wants him out one way or the other. But if you're really concerned about governance or politics or democracy, go and look at what happened after Governor Obaseki became governor of Edo for the second time. And if really and truly the House of Assembly as constituted is even doing anything to the point of they want to impeach him.
They want to impeach him.
And politicians are very interesting people. They're going to say things. But this one, I don't think there's any
issue with it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on from that. And let's go all the way to before we go to Oyo State, let's stay with Lagos State. Now, remember that, I don't know if you saw the story, more like an interview or press conference from the Labour Party governorship candidate, I think was last week after the elections.
In Lagos?
In Lagos State.
Okay.
Where he had talked about some form of alliance that was working, according to his words, the owners of the PDP structure in Lagos State. Now, the spokesperson of the PDP or the PDP governorship candidate, has now come out to say there is no such alliance between the PDP and the Labour Party in Lagos State, and that it is extremely rude for him to say that they're talking to the owners of the structures, that who owns the structure, that structures of a party does not belong to one person.
That's what the PDP spokesperson, or shall I say, the gubernatorial candidate of the PDP spokesperson is saying about what the gubernatorial candidate of the Labour Party said.
Exactly.
Now, both parties have insinuated that there's some kind of alliance that might be coming up. Before the presidential elections in Lagos, you would find PDP banners. I know there's one in Oshiomhole, and I think there's another one in Badagry or somewhere, where the PDP people were campaigning and putting the image of the Labour Party presidential candidate on it.
Okay.
That's some kind of alliance. I said they're going to come and say that, oh, there's no alliance. But that's some kind of alliance.
Okay.
Or maybe they were just trying to cash in on the wave of the popularity of the Labour Party, especially in Lagos. Especially in Lagos. So, no matter what anybody says, or no matter what they are trying to insinuate, they had some kind of thing, even if it was not official. However, without an alliance in Lagos, they might not be able to defeat the incumbent.
That was what I was saying. Like, are you not going to make the same mistake again?
Following the presidential elections, and a lot of emotions are running all around the place. But it is difficult for you as the PDP, for instance, to say that, oh, you're going to defeat this person or defeat that person. Then someone breaks away from your party and takes a chunk of followers.
With them.
Either from within the party or from outside, but has a chunk of followers. Then there's going to be a lot of talk about, oh, you supported, you didn't support me. The bottom line is that it's still a game of numbers. So in Lagos, people need to realize that the voting pattern is not the same when it comes to presidential and gubernatorial. So if the PDP...
And I think it's not just Lagos. I think it's everywhere.
Everywhere. But since you're talking Lagos, that's why I'm focusing on Lagos. Since the PDP is talking about it, one of the things that they should be doing is actually confirming that they actually have some kind of...
Now, my issue with that is that, remember that this Labour Party gubernatorial candidate was an aspirant in the PDP before he moved to the Labour Party. There were rumors that he was supposed to be the
Not
PDP.
rumors. The leader of the PDP, and maybe that's why Labour Party said what they said. The leader of the PDP in Lagos is Chief Bode George. It's like the highest ranking PDP person in Lagos. I don't know any other PDP person in Lagos that's higher than Chief Bode George in Lagos.
Yeah.
And we saw him on TV saying that the current gubernatorial candidate of the PDP was supposed to pick the current gubernatorial candidate of Labour Party as his running mate. But he went ahead to pick Funke Akindele instead of this guy.
My question is that if we already know
so
that
it might also, because again, Bode George also talked about how he had to explain some things to the guy's father and to the Labour Party guy's father. Then he was still in the PDP. Do you understand?
No.
So if he's saying that he knows his father, that means there's some kind of arrangement. It's possible that Bode George
going to step down for who?
No, it's not a matter of stepping down. In this scenario, it is a matter.
Maybe a chunk of the party people are just going to move.
They won't move. It is a matter of Bode George saying that his PDP structure should go and vote for Labour.
Okay.
It doesn't have to say they are leaving the PDP. All he has to do is tell his people, this is our candidate.
Okay. Talking about people leaving a party and all that, there's also a very interesting drama in Oyo State as well, where over the weekend, the chairman of the Labour Party had endorsed the PDP candidate and the governor of the state for a second term. Now, the Labour Party candidate has now come out to debunk this matter and say that the chairman had collected money and that he wasn't stepping down for anybody.
Yeah. So the thing about that is that I've been watching that play out, and this is where you now need to understand that the Labour Party and the supporters of Peter Obi are two different entities. The Labour Party has been in existence for so many years.
Yeah.
The
They've had a governor before.
The Peter Obi movement started last year. They have only followed their principle to the Labour Party to help him actualize his dream of becoming president of Nigeria. Mm-hmm. So, if you hear stories about how Labour Party chairmen have done this and that in any state, realize that those are the Labour Party chairmen and not the people who are affiliated to Peter Obi.
Okay.
And that is the discord that after it is pointed out, they will come back to say, there's no problem. There is a problem. A lot of people who support Peter Obi will tell you that they are not members of the Labour Party and they don't even really care about the Labour Party. So what has happened in Oyo State is the same scenario. The people who are officially in charge of the party might have jettisoned their candidate in support of the PDP's Seyi Makinde. You understand? Mm-hmm. Regardless of how their own candidate feels, because they know that there's this discord, there's this disparity, there's this disconnect.
Which it might not.
That's why you heard.
Good thing.
It's not a good thing, but it didn't affect them in the presidential elections.
True.
Now,
true.
This is where you're going to go. Can the chairman of Labour Party in Oyo State ask the entire supporters who voted last week?
At least the votes that Labour Party got last week.
All the people in Oyo State. Can the chairman of Labour Party really hit his chest boldly and say,
they are all
I am asking all the people who voted last week to vote for Seyi Makinde? Do you really think he can?
Most likely not.
Do you get?
Okay.
That's where it lies. That's where the issue lies. So, there's going to be a lot of drama this weekend.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
A lot of heartbreak.
Elections are going to I think it's going more dramatic.
If the party chairman in Oyo State, for instance, Labour Party chairman in Oyo State, is fully part of the Peter Obi movement. I keep using the word movement because it is a movement. And for him to really actualize this dream that he has, he should leave the Labour Party, set up his own party, or look for a new party to take over, where they can have their own members in charge of the party structure.
Yeah.
Until that happens, you're going to be hearing stories of how Labour is endorsing. We've heard about one or two of their gubernatorial candidates also endorsing other people.
Oh yeah. We've seen in Adamawa, I think I've seen also
at least two in the north.
Yeah. We've seen all those.
Do you understand? And that's where you need to understand, because people are not really looking at it in detail that, Labour Party. No, the people who voted Labour Party, the bulk of them, they're not.
Vote for,
they're not. The bulk of the people who have voted for Atiku and Tinubu,
are they going to
and Kwankwaso are core members of their parties.
Yeah.
NNPP might be a new party, but the people who follow Kwankwaso, who followed him to NNPP, voted for him. The people who support Atiku, who voted for him, are core PDP. Exactly. The people who voted Tinubu are core APC. But the people who voted Peter Obi are people who support Peter Obi as a person.
Yeah.
Regardless of party.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. Quickly before we go, Flutterwave has now denied a cyber attack on its system. There was talks over the weekend that they got hacked and some billions of naira had been moved out of their account. Now they're saying that no customer funds have been lost and all is good.
So, as a PR person, student of English, no customer funds have been lost. Does not mean no funds were lost. You get?
A very wicked person. Come on, let's be good. You just have
But-
to do that.
But Flutterwave, maybe this free advert for them, is a brand that I love. Personally, I love the growth of that business. And I like what they have done to payment solutions across Africa. They were persecuted in Kenya. Now they are better there. And all their woes are behind them. They've moved to Northern Africa now, already conquered Nigeria, and they're spreading across the globe. Eventually, you're going to recognize Flutterwave as one of the biggest payment solutions in the world.
In the world, yeah.
So I'm happy that they're quickly out to respond to talks, because this will cause a lot of panic for their customers and their investors.
Yeah.
So shout out to Flutterwave for doing what
Nipping this in the bud.
most companies should do, as at when they should do it.
Do it. Okay. On that note, that is all we have to take today on the Boom Bar. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you a wonderful edition of the bar. Do have a beautiful day ahead.